Hey, Mark, how you doing, buddy? Again, early viewers, if you could give a video and sound report here, that would be great. Craig, Brad, how you doing? Good to hear, good to hear. Let me see if I can set up somewhere here. I was working until the very last moment here, working in the knife shop, and I said, "Oh, yikes! I've got 4 minutes to get online." So it's been a rush here. I was racing to get set up. So good to hear that sound and everything is coming through just fine. A little different scene tonight. I figured why not? Why not? And partly I probably won't be on the full hour as usual. Got something planned with my wife, so I'm hoping to head home a little earlier, as well as I came out here because I don't really have any knives to show you tonight. I don't have any fancy knives other than Mini Tradesman in pocket. I've been carrying this one for a while now. Quite a few weeks, probably getting into a couple months. And it has been beat on and abused. Really, in this case, abused. It's been abused and just really loving it. Hey, Strapped and Dangerous. I see Strapped and Dangerous has a new tradesman video up on his channel. Oh, Brad got his mini tradesman today. Wonderful. We're heading into, I don't know if some of you guys remember, around Christmas. Actually, it was right through the Christmas season. It was quite terrible that we had a postal strike up here. So our federal postal system, the union decided to strike, and it was all through Christmas and into January. It was quite a mess. And it held up a lot of packages because we were caught kind of unawares. It happened and nobody took it seriously, and then everything came to a halt, and no one could get their Christmas packages, and packages that were on the way stayed right where they were. So what ended up happening is I believe the government forced them back to work until negotiations could happen this spring, and they said, okay, but if they don't happen, we'll strike again. So as I understand it, this month here now is the week that they're, May month, middle of May, 22nd, I think is the earliest. If things aren't progressing how they want to by the 22nd, they're going to strike again. So I'm switching now to anything that I ship this week. I ship still Canada Post, Federal Post, because it'll be there or it'll be already crossed into United States Postal Service by the time that they strike. So I don't see any issues. But starting next week, any packages that go out will be shipped UPS. And it may be a little slower just because if they do strike, there'll be a burden on all those other systems to make up for it. But it shouldn't be too bad, especially at the start. But it was a huge issue for me going into Christmas, and I had never shipped with anyone other than Federal Post, and they've been really reliable, really excellent over the years. And I had no system set up for another postal carrier. So that's a whole resource that I had to figure out, a whole network, but it's in place now. So we're doing okay. I'm not too worried about it. We'll see how it goes. They might not strike at all. Poor and bruised of spirit. Hello, sir. Or ma'am, I'm not sure. Dalton. Welcome. It's been a fun week here in the shop. You can see a different setting. I've been in the knife shop. I've been focusing mostly this week on restoration work and custom work, that type of thing. And it's been a lot of fun. Dad is not here this week. Thank you. Dad has been gone this week. He's on a little, just taking a little hiatus from the shop here. And so I've been all alone, and I've been enjoying some work on the boat here, the boat console, and I've been enjoying some work in the knife shop, lots of restoration work. I've got Buck 110s on the go, and I've been doing a lot of filming. Filming is hard when you have more than one person, and so it often gets pushed aside. It's just too much racket, too much going on, not worth getting the camera out. But this week it's been so quiet here. I've had the camera running, and I'm filming Buck 110 jobs and all that kind of stuff. Oh, Strapped and Dangerous. Thanks for the 90th Warrior sheath. So Strapped, if you've seen the video released this week, that beautiful commemorative piece, the warrior with the red sheath, that is going out to Strapped and Dangerous. It is a work of art. And of course, I did the work, but Strapped and Dangerous picked out all of the details and sent in the pins. They're his pins, and chose every feature on this knife. So yeah, I can't take full credit, certainly not. Hey, Jingo Bells! Welcome. Everything's going good, Father and Son Outdoors. Thanks so much for asking. It's been a great week here. Some nice weather and something different this week. My wife and I started. We didn't decide until Sunday evening that as of Monday we were starting 75 hard. A lot of people have probably heard of it by now, but we've done it before. We did it 18 months, 2 years ago, something like that, and completed the challenge, aced the challenge, no problem, no starting over, nothing like that, and we just decided to start again. We've been kind of battling for the last couple years, just trying to get healthy and to be a good size and to feel good and keep our energy levels up. And it's tough when you're as busy as we are with 4 kids and 2 parents working, and we're homeschooling, and it's just so much going on. It's hard to tend to yourself in that way, and sometimes things get a little out of control, and that's how I feel now. So my wife is the one brought it up. She said, I think I'm going to do 75 hard again, and I knew as soon as she said it that I wanted to jump on it too. If you're not familiar with the program, you can let me know, but yeah, if you want to hit that like button, I'd be really appreciative. But that warrior was something special. As I stated in the end of that video, I am so thankful for you guys who let me take on these special projects. And as I'm saying that, a bunch come to mind, so many different special projects that I've gotten to do over the years. I think of the builds for the military auction, the Canadian Forces auction, or the military police auction that happens here in Canada every year. I've been contracted a number of times to build commemorative pieces for them. A number of veteran builds now for both active military and veterans. Pieces to honor grandfathers, pieces to honor grandmothers, and brothers, gifts for brothers. Just these special projects that mean a whole lot. The passing of sons, knife builds to commemorate a son that was lost, and some of them, a lot of these projects are heavy projects. There's a lot of weight and sentiment behind them, and I am honored that you guys choose me for these very meaningful projects. Very honored. It's been a long road. And we've got a long ways to go yet. Hey, Elijah, thanks for stopping into the live stream. Glad you could say hello. You guys know I'm here in a little different setting tonight. Strapped and Dangerous, I'm glad you could chime in, even if it's only for a little bit. But as I mentioned at the start of the stream, I plan to only be here for probably a half hour tonight. If you guys don't chat any more than you are, it'll probably be less than that. Not a whole lot of chit chat. Last week, there wasn't a whole lot. Very quiet. the comment section just not moving. And so I don't want to just sit and yap at you about nothing for a half hour. But you can see this big, beautiful engine here behind me. No knives, unless you all want to tell me what knife you're carrying today. I was thinking about that just a minute ago. I wonder what everyone's carrying their EDC for today. Perhaps you don't carry an EDC. I've got an interesting, just on the knife topic. I just started a knife build in there. Then really interesting. That is a full mammoth tooth bake apple, or a full mammoth tooth handle. So usually we do mammoth tooth just in an inlay or a front portion. Strapped and Dangerous has a Warrior. You guys might have seen it. I showed it on a video, I think, but you've got that front 30% that's colored mammoth tooth. Strapped and Dangerous there has the neon green or the purple or all different colors, or we do an inlay or like that. I don't think I've ever done an entire handle out of mammoth tooth. So I'm really excited to see how it's going to look. It's going to be pretty wild. So pretty excited about that. I'll have to film it. Gonna have to film it. I've got a bunch of mammoth tooth in there on the bench right now. We're doing Prevail with a mammoth inlay. I've got 2 bucks, a 110 and a 112 in mammoth tooth, both going to the same owner. I've got a bake apple, like I said, with that full mammoth tooth handle. It's there's some tasty stuff coming along. Jingle bells. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate it. Elijah's carrying the first knife he was ever given as a kid, a Buck 442. You know what's a great knife? Just popped in my mind. If you haven't seen them, if you like the Buck style knife, that lockback chassis build style knife, that is the Schrade LB7. They're really nice. I don't think they're made anymore, but any that I've had coming here in the shop for restoration, they're built very nice. Really nice knife. I love when they come in the shop. The lines are really nice. Maybe even a touch nicer to my eye. The shape of the frame, maybe even a touch nicer to my eye than the Buck 110. Although I love the Buck 110. Strapped and Dangerous mention the boat center console. Hey, Brian! I see Brian's been out on the boat. The center console, I'll give you a little bit. Oh. It is coming along so good. I've had a couple little interruptions or problems. You guys will see in videos coming up very soon. I'll get one up early next week, and then maybe the end of next week. Then we'll move on. But there's lots of video to come. I've got a lot of video already shot, waiting to be edited to go up, and it's just turning out well. Sometimes when you start a project that's this big, like with the flatbed truck build project, you have it up here, but you're not fully confident that what's going to happen, the result is going to turn out like it's up here. Does the design in your head make sense? Does it look good in real life at full scale, And that's like this console. I had drawn it on paper, and I had drawn it on the computer, and I had built it out of cardboard sloppily, and I built it out of Meranti wood sloppily, but no window cutouts, and you lose a lot of, I just did it enough to get the scale of it. And so is it going to look right when it's done? When you get those windows cut out, is it going to look right? And does my design have enough structural integrity built in to hold up? These are things when you're building for the first time, something totally custom like this, it's really hard to forecast. You don't know what's going to happen. But all that said, At the point we are right here now, I could not be happier. There's been a couple little changes need to be made, a couple little tweaks, just to get it as rigid as I'm looking for. But it is very, very nice. I'm excited for you guys to see it. I'm excited to do some testing on it soon. I ordered my control cables and my helm kit yesterday, so we can start drilling and fitting for that. So just very excited with this project. Brian, I see you got a nice boat there, buddy. Is that your own? I believe I seen on the Facebook there the week. It's dropped in dangerous. You're carrying a Spyderco. Which Spyderco you carrying? Oh, paramilitary. Very nice. At home, it's a Mini T. In the field, it's a Takamura, the Castrum. Nice choices. Richard's got the Svenza. Very nice. Very nice. A Svenza is one of those knives that I have never seen in person. I've never seen a Chris Reeves knife in person. I've watched a lot, ogled a lot in my earlier knife days, my young knife days when I was into collecting folders and that type of thing. But they make a beautiful knife for sure. Brian, yeah, absolutely. I did TIG. I'll just let you guys in on it. I did TIG for a while for all the structural part of the project. And then I got the spool gun out and I said, I think I'm going to give the spool gun another try. And I've been all spool gun ever since. And if you don't know what that is, it's like a MIG gun. So it's a wire feed, but the roll of wire is up here in the gun and it's run on a DC welder. So that conversion happens somewhere along the way, some kind of magic. I don't know how it becomes AC, but it does. And I've been really practicing with it and it's been going great. Really great. Why I switched to the spool gun in the first place, I was having a really difficult time in some locations getting. Okay, I'm good for battery. I was having a really tough time in some locations getting the TIG torch and filler in there. I just couldn't get there like I wanted. And so I said, I'm going to have to give this spool gun a try. And the first several welds were really ugly and nasty and dirty. And I sort of cringed through it and played with the settings a little bit. And I got it to the point where it was just really, really nice. Really, really nice. And my welds are coming out really nice now. So it's a lot of fun. It's making things a lot faster. But I got all of those hours in TIG work at the start, which are super valuable. Picks in the comments would be really fun. That if you're gonna have, if we were doing Discord or something like that, we could do something like that versus on YouTube here. The Chris Reeves Svenza is a pricey knife. Actually, I haven't looked at the prices of them in years. I would imagine they're gone up quite a bit. That is too bad, Mark. Sorry to hear about those laws in Australia. I hope we don't, or I hope it takes a very long time to get to that point. That's pretty unfortunate. Mark says he's down here in Victoria, Australia. The laws do not allow EDCs. They can't carry an EDC knife. But it sounds like he can pull off carrying a Leatherman. So I guess they're just a little lenient. Probably technically still illegal, but they're a little lenient. Brian has a Sea Breeze. That's a beautiful boat. My buddy has basically that same boat. They're shaped so nice. That scoop in them, really, really nice. How am I going to attach the console to my boat? Great question. I'm using, I'll describe as a base plate design. So I have a heavy base plate with a surround so high. You'll see it in the next video, actually. And that base plate will be leg bolted and probably epoxied to the floor of my boat. And then the console will sit down into the bait plate and be through bolted. And so the console will be easily removable. Pull the bolts, lift the console out. That simple. Again, one of those things like I was talking about a minute ago. It makes sense up here. In theory, it all makes sense. Will it all work just so? I think so. I think so. I don't expect any huge hiccups, but that's the plan. The base plate will stay in the boat, and then the console can be easily removed. Because my plan is, I'll just go ahead and unfold it. My plan is to get the raw console done here, mount just steering wheel and throttle controls in it, put it in the boat, and take it and run it for a couple trips. And to make sure that, it's rigid, it's strong. I don't want to go ahead and paint it and wire it and put in my accessories and put on some lights and get it all dialed and then start going out the harbor in a chop and everything is wobbling or it's cranky or does something weird. I want to test it just really raw form. And that way I can come back. And the beauty of the base plate is if I've got trouble, if I need a bunch of supports welded in, if I need any issues like that, I could just pull the bolts. We take it right out of the boat, do the bit of fab work, lay it back in and bolt it in. It's really simple. It's a design I feel like is kind of my design. I've never seen it before. It's something that I've kind of been working through as I've been building this console and thinking, how are we going to make it? How are we going to put it in there firmly? And then I eventually said, well, I don't just want it to be firm and sturdy. I want it to be removable as well. Anytime I want to remove this to do some work, I want to be able to do that. Of course, it's not that simple. You got to unhook cables and these types of things, but I want to make it possible. So that's why I've come up with this base plate design. Are you sure you can cut out the seat with no problem? Yes, I've talked to the manufacturer of the boat where they're made here in Kings Point, Newfoundland. No problem at all. And I'm actually, so it's a full tot, we call it a full seat, solid all the way across. The console we're building is 36 inches wide. So that gives us, X amount on each side. I'm cutting out only one side and the width of the console. So the other tot will come, or the side will come from the sidewall of the boat out to the console, and we'll do a plate on there too, and it'll be secured to that part of the top because that's where my cables will have to come out and run it out across that top. That's a messy way of explaining it, but that's what we're doing. And so that side of the boat will keep that tot there glassed in place. That'll keep some rigidity. One side of the console will be the walk around. And I'm getting pretty close. I could very well next week be cutting out that fiberglass in my boat. We'll see. I hope I don't have to do any fiberglass work. I hope I don't have to put any mat in there or anything like that, but it's not too big of a deal. We'll see. Mark, you used to be able to carry an EDC due to knife crime. Yeah, that's too bad. Our laws have been stiffening up here as well, and I'm not even sure it's due to crime, but it's just strange policy and just overeager folk. I see a lot of just legislation based on not a lot of sense sometimes. Figure if the console will affect the center of gravity. I don't think it will. This console, I'm so glad I built it out of aluminum. It's still really light. It's still, I would say, I don't think it's as heavy as me at this point. I don't think it's over 200 pounds. I think I could still, if I could get a hold of it, I think I could still pick it up and carry the console, even with its scale at this point and all that I'm putting in. It's still, aluminum is so light. You know, I had a 20-foot piece of 1-inch tubing come in of aluminum, 1/8-inch wall, and a 20-foot piece cut in 5-foot lengths. And I walked in with it because I had a courier bring it here. It was wrapped up on both ends, you know, and I just walked in with it in my hand like this. Just opened the door, holding it in one hand. It's really incredible. And that tubing has so much strength, but yeah, it's so light. It's a beautiful material. Really happy that I chose aluminum. And most of the weight should be down in the bottom, low in the boat. So I don't think we'll have any issues, you know, making the boat act funny or anything like that. I don't think it'll really change the boat at all. Very, very fun projects. Privileged to be able to do it. But I think we're going to call her here for tonight, guys. Unless you have any... Oh, good question. I'd like to end on that one. I'd like to answer that one. Unless you have another one, you guys can ask too. But can I disclose any sponsors? I think the only sponsor I ended up hunting down, and it's the main one I wanted to get, and that's for the electrical. And you'll see that in next week's in the next episode. But I went with Oxbeam this time. And the main reason I'll explain in that video, but I found this really, really incredible product, and I've never worked with Oxbeam, never owned their products. I found this really awesome product by them. When I seen it, I said, I have got to have that for the boat project. And so I contacted them, and they were more than happy to send out whatever gear I wanted for the boat project. And so we had some fun, chose some cool stuff. We've got some really nice lights, and if you want to look it up, the AC 1200, I think, switch panel, which is really cool. Ariel, they have their ratings are really good. They're a really big company with a good reputation. They're not a North American manufacturer. They are an overseas manufacturer. But as I grasp, or if I grasp correctly, I think they're like the premium of the overseas lines. I think they're pretty much king of the overseas lines, more so than Nylite or some of these other brands. There are so many that are on the go now, I know. But Oxbeam, I think, was like the original. Excited for what's happening here in the shop. Excited to have Dad back with me next week. But I appreciate you stopping in and hanging out with me. Am I going to watch the Leafs get beat tonight? No, sir. I have not watched a hockey game probably since high school. And I don't know if you could tell, but I'm a ways out from high school now. I don't watch, except for combat sports. I've watched quite a few combat sports in my adult life so far, but very few sports in general. Yeah, that's what I've heard. That's what I know from them. We'll see. You guys have a great weekend. I'm heading home to be with my wife and my family. It's a beautiful evening out there. I can see the sun setting, but you too, Strapped and Dangerous. You too. You have a great weekend. Enjoy all that family stuff. And again, I appreciate your support. Go check out the website. Everything's reversed here. knknives.ca. If you would, check out the new products added this week. I don't even think I sent a marketing email out about that. I should probably get on that. Thanks for watching. Make sure you check out my other content. Check out that Warrior project if you haven't seen it. Check out the website, knknives.ca. And I hope you have a great weekend. Blue Dog, just closing her down. I appreciate you saying hello. Have a great night, guys.